Fintech is something like what communication did with across industries. Fintech is doing exactly the same. Why do you need that money? Because it's digital numbers anywhere it's in a bank or in your wallet. What entrepreneurs need to do is just see how the supply chain actually works. My name is Ahmed Abdulwahab, and I'm the CEO of Next Arabia, and I'm very happy to be here in Nairobi. It was a great starting point by identifying opportunities, new opportunities in fintech, and at the same time as well, redefining what is actually fintech. Not only what we used to believe that fintech is financial technologies, but it's actually way more than that. Fintech is important because it doesn't just touch the traditionally financial services, but the way I see it is financial technologies or fintech really is a feeder for all other industry sectors. So fintech is not just focused on banks or for startups or big tech companies, but it actually is driving healthcare, education, military, all the sectors that are involved in financial transaction. One of the interesting use cases is actually that fintech redefines what bank is. I was doing a presentation a couple months ago where I talk about bank is not the future, but banking is the future. And who's driving it is fintech. So what I mean is fintech really redefines the industry, not only for the traditional banking industry on insurance and etc., but also other related industries where you question mark the big incumbents, whether they are really the key players or not. With fintech, you see that more and more embedded financial services are popping up that actually question mark the existence of the incumbents, which are the banks. So you see that all these fintech companies, and as well, not only fintech, but also tech fins, which means the big technology firms that are entering the financial services, that they're actually encircling the big incumbents, like the banks, for example, and insurance companies, that they're actually offering elements and services where the banks and insurance companies, etc., are not very strong. This is where they enter into the market, and then eventually, at some point, will be, I don't want to call the bank, but because we need to redefine what the bank is in the future, but they're going to become a banking service provider. Even the storage of money is not guaranteed anymore because money is currently redefined. So money itself is redefined. In other words, why do you need that money? Because it's digital numbers anywhere it's in a bank or in your wallet. The majority of people still use cash. However, there are new payment opportunities existing. For example, you tokenize items. Even though we see with Bitcoin, the price went down, but eventually things will pop up again, will grow up again, until we find the right, let's say, the right business model, as well as, let's say, the underlying assets. If you come up with a new, let's say, storage of money or the actual money, particular coins, with an underlying asset, that would actually have a better value than the traditional money. So in that sense, when we reach there, for example, here in Kenya, one of the strongest industries is farming, but the farming is still fragmented. Imagine if we create a platform where we tokenize the assets. Assets means the fruits and all the agricultural products. If we tokenize it and come up with a new currency, that would have a stronger value than the actual Kenya shilling or US dollar. Because this is, that new currency has an underlying assets, whereas the traditional currency has no underlying assets. When I arrived in Kenya for the first time in July, I actually never left. I just went quickly back to Dubai to see my family, but I spent now more time over here and launched my own startup company together with a business partner. So if you go around, there are a lot of opportunities, really lot of opportunities. To come back to your question, there are opportunities in, for example, in healthcare or in the farming. What entrepreneurs need to do is just see how the supply chain actually works. And then if you look at the supply chain, like in the farming or even in the production, in manufacturing, etc., and you look at how from the producer, from a farmer, for example, until the consumer gets, there's a lot of steps in between, many steps in between. As a fintech entrepreneur, for example, I would look at the value chain or supply chain and see what kind of services can I provide beyond payment. Payment is obviously one piece, but I can also provide like insurance. Can also provide a platform, an actual platform itself. It has nothing to do with financial services, but it's just a platform where you become like an aggregator, or you're connecting demand and supply, etc. So that's why financial fintech or tech fin, when you come from a technology background, is actually everything and nothing, to be honest, because you can apply it to any other industry. For me, fintech, as mentioned earlier, is really a feeder that drives all the other industries, because every business, every industry, there are financial transactions going on, there are insurance transactions going on. I would just call it overall transactions, whether it is financial transaction or is insurance transaction, or it is transaction of goods, whatever kind of transaction. That's how I would redefine fintech and how it can drive any industry. I love challenges, and I love to disrupt the traditional financial and banking system. I had several startups companies before, always doing something new. And the personal is not just interest, but putting the interest into action by actually launching a company, the next company. So we just launched a company a couple months ago where we provide advanced salaries, not based on loan or etc., but based on transaction fee, in order to create a social impact. And that's just an entry point. What we want to do is enter into the market and then providing other services on top, but from a consumer's perspective. And now, if I just take a step back, as for all entrepreneurs, it is very important to figure out who's your customers, core customer segment, and then what are they looking for? Not only what do they have right now, but what are they looking for? What are the pain points that they have? And then figure out a way how we can actually solve it. Solve it. Today, it's still very difficult to send money from here to across other countries, but maybe we can come up with a solution that would make it possible. If, for example, if you're a truck owner or in a transportation business, it's very difficult to move items physically from here, from Kenya to Tanzania to Uganda, Rwanda, Nigeria, because of different regulations and etc. As an entrepreneur, you find out a way how you can leverage technology and financial services to overcome it. Is it difficult? Absolutely, otherwise everybody would do it. But just go and just try it out on a very small scale, and then identify partners that you could work with, so you piggyback on them in order to do then the market penetration.